Welcome back to another live from CappaCon. With me, I have a Facebook legend. You are you're doing about the same, if not more, Facebook lives than I do now.
I only did it because I was so inspired by,
Thank you.
my idol. I mean, how I couldn't get anywhere near the level of where you are, but
I just don't have the chains that you had today. This is Keven Pedersen from Salinas Pawn.
How are you?
A great pawnbroker, a great person. Some awesome stuff for charity, for Kappa. What makes you get so involved with the association?
It started with my dad. When we first started, my dad had been in business all his life, and we were always we were in the nursery business.
Okay.
So we watered plants. We did everything, and he used to say, and obviously you could tell, he used to say, if the plants don't eat, you don't eat. Well, obviously we kept the plants very watered, okay? So, sorry. And it was that type of upbringing all our life that even when we were kids, we were part of the business. And then when we become partners with our dad in the pawn business, one thing he says is, if you don't support the community that supports you, you'll fail.
Oh, I love that.
So that was just, I had kind of adapted that. I have, sorry.
No, this is awesome.
I lost my dad a couple years ago. So
sorry.
But I just embraced that, and I kind of had the outgoing personality and, the gift of gab, and my brother's not that way. So I took on the role of being the face of the store and goofy and stupid and not willing to make myself look like a dummy, I mean, not afraid to make myself look like a dummy.
Yes.
So.
Well, I will say this is obviously the tears that are coming out because your dad was a leader in your life and someone who you looked up to.
Oh,
and someone who you respected. And so
I didn't lose just a father. I lost a good friend.
Man, sorry about your loss. So, but you guys went into business together. He taught you a lot about business, and what you're saying is he taught you to be part of the community.
Yeah, he said exactly what I said. He said, if you don't support the community that supports you, it won't come the way you want it. And so we started getting involved in nonprofit stuff and doing different stuff with that. And now my son's moving into the business, and I'm instilling that same deal with him, and I just want to, if we can change one little bit of how pawnbrokers are viewed, by what Hollywood does to us, it's nothing on our own. It's cool. And I think it's neat. A lot of times when I'm at a fundraiser and they're like, so who's responsible for this? The pawn shop? And it's just, you could see people kind of like, well, that's not what I thought that was all about, Yeah. So a pawnbroker did this? Yep. So
I love that because I really feel that giving back to, like, if you want your community to give to you, right, you got to give to your community.
Right.
Morris, Morris is a great guy.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't keep drying it up. I mean, there were times where Morris would shell out $1,000 to help a family that couldn't bury their loved one. There was times that we donated money to a local school, and we just saw it come back in droves. And we did just to, because we enjoyed it, but it just came back in droves, and the community started respecting us to the point where the pawn shop to the left was robbed, the pawn shop on the right was robbed. But we weren't.
It's funny you say that because we're in Salinas. That's a tough town.
Yeah.
And when we very first opened, we got tagged on the window, and my dad was upset about it, and then we got to start knowing people from that side of the community.
Yeah.
And it was one of our big window ads, and it was just something there was no way of us fixing it rather than replace it all.
Yeah.
And so my dad was complaining to one of the guys we got to know, and he goes, that's a good tag. That tag means that this is what we found out was because the moms in that shop there, that was a tag saying these people
leave them alone.
Leave them alone.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't even know it. We're like,
take it off.
Yeah, we're like, we got to fix this. And they're like, no, you need to leave that alone. You got tagged in a good way. And I'm like, I didn't know there was a possibility. It's its own little culture, and we think we know all about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, it's learning the community that you survive in.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And knowing that, like, one of the things that my father, who has Parkinson's and dementia, always taught us was, you don't pay your paycheck, the client does. And once you learn that, once you do that mindset shift, you start treating people differently.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, we gotta get this guy a tissue. So
Huh? No, it's, you know what? I hurt my back yesterday. It tightened up on me. And this back pain that I take, I don't know why, it makes my eyes water.
Oh, okay.
So I took a bunch of back pain medicine last night so that I could walk again today. I'm sure my belly has nothing to do with it. You know, it's all my back.
We'll talk about that after. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, you've been awesome.
I've opened up.
You've been awesome.
I'm not going to plank or do any of this other crap that you want me to do, okay? I tried doing it the other day, but it was still in a chair, you know?
I'm planking.
Yeah, right.
Planking
this is as close as you get, you go.
That's awesome. You've been awesome to the community. You know, I was on the board many years ago. You weren't as involved as you are today. So they're blessed to have you, to blessed to do the work that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate
to do
that.
what you do, to do the Facebook Lives. I saw you do that cross-country tour with your son.
The what?
The cross-country tour.
Oh.
How was that? I mean, I just want to say something. I think it's very tough for a pawnbroker these days to think about getting up and leaving the shop with their son, who supposedly works in the store with you.
Yeah.
How long did you guys go for?
Well, we left South Carolina, and it was an 8-day
thing.
8-day cruise.
So you got to take a vacation for 8 days. I can't even imagine.
The most important part was I got to spend 8 days with my son, one-on-one.
That's what I was going to say. In the car for hours, conversations, and then you went a step above.
So he's a 21-year-old kid that just graduated 4 years of college, and I like talking to you, not the camera.
Yeah, please do.
And I had no idea what I was going to get. First off, I found out in 4 years of college, he learned a lot about beer. Okay. His business degree, I'm trying to find where he learned any of that. He's still got the degree, but he is very fluent in beer. But we spent 8 days, and it started off the normal father-son, nothing. And as the days wore on, he started opening up. And, you know, the whole sponsorship deal that Morris and you and everyone was, you know, that started with just this text that I got from Seth, because as we were driving, I love Arby's.
Yeah.
And I seen Arby's, and I just said, hey, sponsored by Arby's. And Seth's like, hey, you're on to something there. We should get sponsorship. I'm like, nobody's going to be interested in that. And then Morris is like, I want to sponsor. Yeah. And I started getting all these calls like, hey, these guys can't sponsor. And so and they're like, we'll sponsor your gas. I go, hey, I don't need the money to do it. Let's figure out something to do it for, you know? And we did. Everyone donated $250, $300, $400. Yep. And we just had a great time with it, you know? And we advertised in a way. I made jokes out of everyone's business, but it really made people think about your name. That's all I was trying to do. Yeah. You know, it's like Morris kept saying, I'm not Jaggy Labs. I'm Jaggy Lab. And I'm like, well, I think that's stupid. You know, I think you should be Labs. You know, the internet gives you the ability to make yourself look like you're a $1 billion enterprise. Why do you want to look like just one lab?
That's why I'm Pawn Leaders and not Leader.
I said it afterwards. I go, your brother's figured it out. He's a leader. He's got leaders. He's not just a leader. So it just started rolling into just goofiness. But my son and I, everywhere we went, we looked for props, and we had just a great time.
I can't imagine like how incredible the conversation must have been, how connected you guys were after that.
You know, we got to talking about life. Michelle,
can we get
you
napkin?
grab some napkins?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Thank you.
Thank you. So we can continue doing this. Thank you.
Thank you. It was funny because my son.
We got Sam Shockett talking to us.
He got me crying on the first thing.
I got him crying within the first minute, which is awesome.
Got me crying.
We'll get Sam on here so he can cry as well.
Yeah, Sam's easy to get crying. You know, my son, he did 4 years of college and graduated with a business degree, but he played baseball all the way through. And he was a lefty pitcher. And there was a little bit, not nervousness, but I was afraid that he was going to want to chase that dream, you know. And afraid more for him about how that was going to end for him. And on that way home, he was nervous to tell me, and I was nervous to talk to him, but that trip actually gave us the ability, and he said, you know, Dad, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm done with baseball. And I'm kind of like, what? And he was afraid I was going to be upset.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to tell him that you should think about
Something else.
not, about further in life. So I think that was one of the greatest things that come out of that whole trip was just the breaking of the ice and father and son talking and not being nervous about
That's awesome.
saying.
And I want to say something. Just the fact that you guys were able to do it, to set up your shop so you can take that trip, to not worry about.
I'm very fortunate. I have 2 brothers that I'm partners with.
Awesome.
That stayed at home, and even though they busted my
balls, you
back,
can say that.
yeah, this is
These are
the
Pawnbrokers.
internet balls. They busted my balls every day. I'd be like, hey, today we're going to be in Memphis, and they're like, hey, I'm going to be at work. I'm like, oh, it sucks for you.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. But the great thing is that you got a good relationship with them, even though they bust your balls, gave you the opportunity, and you took it and you ran with it and you gave back to a community. That
was the cool thing is all those donations. I didn't know what to do with it. I'm the president of a nonprofit in our town of Heroes, and it stands for Honoring Emergency Responders of Every Service. I just felt it was a good fit for us because we work so close with the police departments and that. So, but it's police and fire and our military. And then I had that money and I didn't know what to do with it. But I told our organization, I said, hey, I raised this money, but I want to figure out what to do with it. And then a project come to us where they were raising money for 5 soldiers that from Monterey County, where we're from, that had been killed in action. Mm. And I'm like, man, I raised the money on a road trip, and these are road signs that are going to be honoring their ultimate sacrifice. I'm like, this is where it needs to go. So with what we did for just a bunch of friends goofing around, we raised $3,000 for a $15,000 project to honor those 5 people that have lost their lives in the line of service.
Man, so I'm honored to be a part of that because I donated.
Yes, you did, awesome. And I thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. Seth's like, hey, you got to, check this out. This is what he's doing. I was like, yes, if for a good cause, I'm in. And I just thought it was incredible what you were doing. So for me, giving back to the community, when I talk about like Cashco and the pawn industry, we're here at Capicon, giving back to the community is what it's all about. Mm-hmm. And if we don't have a mission to help out our customers and the people around us, then we're just getting up to just make money. And that's a little, that's shallow, but yes, we need to make money. Right. But when there's a mission greater than that, that's when you do well. That's when you leave a legacy. That's when you wake up every day and love what you do.
Yeah. And we don't do it. I know most of the people that see what we do, in the philanthropy type side, they're probably not going to be my customer, But if I can shave that side of the community's image a little bit and let them think and be more open to us, I think that's a win,
It's why it's called Pawn Leaders, because you don't have to just be a leader in your company. I want you to be a leader in your house, in your community.
Yeah.
Love it. Keven, this has been awesome. I'm honored that you cried on my Facebook Live.
What are you, Barbara Walters now or something?
And you tried to blame the medication, but that's okay. I'm kidding.
Didn't work, did it?
I'm kidding. Love
no,
you,
it's
I appreciate you.
2014. It's been 4 or 5 years, but it's something we talked about, and 100%. On the other things that you talk about is, I don't think I've dealt with my dad's death yet. And so it's an easy trigger.
Yeah. This is weird. So, I'm triggered. My father has Parkinson's and dementia. And he lived 120 years. He had 12 stores, multi-million-dollar operation, 100+ employees, and he always said, I'm gonna work now to live tomorrow.
Right.
I'm gonna make money today so I can go on vacation later. But now at the age of 68, I think
it's funny you say that, because that was one of the last conversations I had with my dad. He knew a lot more about where he was in life than he was telling us,
Uh-huh.
And I said, Dad, you have all the money you could, you've always wanted to go to New Zealand. He goes, I waited too long. I worked, and now I can't physically do what I'm mentally there, but I can't physically go do. Yeah. And I've told myself, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lay on my deathbed and going, I should have, could have, would have, we'll go live life now. And if life continues on, we'll just do more shit,
Yeah.
Balls. If I can say balls,
you can say balls all day.
If I can say balls, I'm saying shit too.
Yeah. So, Keven, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. Have an incredible show. If you guys don't know Keven, reach out. He's in my Pawn Leaders podcast community. He's a big part of the Kappa Association. You do so much for them. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. Go ahead.
Can we plug?
Yes.
If you're here,
yeah.
If you're here, we got for the Kappa auction and the raffle. There's a ton of great things. I know that you sponsored, the balloon board,
Yep.
which is part of the whole big fundraiser. And so many vendors and so many members have stepped up with auction awesome items. CA Pawnbrokers, Helping Pawnbrokers, has a list of all the auction items. I mean, for a guy like Steve Foster to offer his condo on Wilshire Boulevard.
And I've been there.
Yeah,
It's
amazing.
It's incredible.
And he says, hey, someone can go stay there for 4 days, and they can drink out of my bar and smoke my cigars. And I'm like, Steven,
You know who you're
are
talking
you dumb? I mean, I'll just go there with a cart and take all your liquor. I won't even stay the 4 nights. I just want your booze.
It's 3 bedrooms.
Three bedrooms.
2 baths.
Yeah.
Like, you have like a valet service when you get there. I went to the gym downstairs. There's a sauna downstairs.
If you show up with groceries, they take them from you and go put them in the hotel
It's
the
amazing.
room.
So you know what I'm going to do? We'll get that list. We'll put it in the Pollinators podcast community as well. That way, if anybody wants to go ahead and bid on it, they can buy some tickets.
Well, there's a raffle, and then there's the live auction.
Got it.
That's going to be ended or silent live auction. If things have got a lot of action on them, we're going to make them. We're going to go live tonight at the dinner.
Awesome. Beautiful.
So that was one thing that if anyone's heard about it was we were planning on closing it tomorrow, but tomorrow gets real busy for you guys and the vendors. Sure. And we wanted to really respect your time in the hall.
Yeah.
And so we're taking the auction away from it. We're going to close it at dinner tonight.
Awesome, because I'm going to win that trip to New York. That's my goal. I just went to New York without my wife, and she's like, you better find a way to take me. So I'm like, I got to win that trip to New York.
You're high bidder on one of them.
Yes. I'm in New York. Awesome. Keven, thank you so much. So much more coming from Capicon. It's been awesome.
I know now that I've achieved the level that I needed to be because I've been on with you.
There you go, man. You've made it.
If I lay down tonight and don't wake up tomorrow,
you're good.
I die living life.
Love, man. Thank you so much. Guys, stay tuned for more.